So, last time we were reading from Aida. Amneris, the daughter of the pharaoh, had just been given to Radames as his reward. To marry her was his reward for being such a great leader and having defeated the Ethiopians. So while she's thrilled, she's also very upset and consumed with her jealousy because she knows that Radames is in love with Aida. But maybe it doesn't matter, really. I mean, she's a slave, so she can get rid of the slave and be married, and maybe he'll get over it. Who knows? I wonder what she's thinking. Anyways, it's the eve of their great wedding. A full moon shines on the dark waters of the river Nile beside the temple of Isis. By boat, the high priest Ramphis brought Amneris to the temple, and there she was to pray that her marriage be blessed. Little did she know that Radames had sent a message to Aida, who was waiting to meet him nearby. Aida sadly watched the moonlit river and longed with all her heart and soul to return to her beloved homeland. Suddenly, she heard Radames approach. But when the man came closer, she was stunned to see that it was her father, King Amonsro. Wait a minute, I thought he was being held captive. I wonder how he got out. Listen carefully, Aida, he said sternly. My plan will bring both you and Radames back to Ethiopia. Our soldiers stand ready to attack when I signal. There is a secret, unguarded road, but only Radames knows it. It is your duty, as the princess of Ethiopia, to make him reveal this path. Father, she cried, I cannot betray Radames. With anger and disdain, King Amonsro forced her to her knees. You are no longer my daughter. You are nothing more than a lowly slave of the Egyptians and a betrayer to your country. Have you forgotten your loved ones who were slaughtered without mercy by your enemies? He's kind of right? She's choosing love over her country and her friends and her family, and oh my gosh, this is serious, serious stuff. I mean, I don't know. She says, you're wrong. I am not and will never be a slave to anyone. I am the princess of Ethiopia, and I have never forgotten my royal blood. My duty is to you and to my country, and that will always be first in my heart. But even as she swore to obey his command, she cried inside for what her father and her dear country would cost her. Amonsro embraced her to give her courage, and he hid in the bushes to listen. When Radames finally came, he was breathless with love. But Aida turned on him scornfully. How could you betray me and marry Amneris as your reward? Aida, you have always been my love. My passion for you is deeper than the Nile, deeper than life itself, Radames told her. Then show me, Aida demanded. You have betrayed me, and if you truly love me, you will leave Egypt tonight and flee with me to Ethiopia. Only there will we find happiness and peace. Radames was torn. The thought of leaving Egypt was unbearable, but the thought of living without Aida was even more painful. What do you think he's going to do? Is he going to go? Leave Egypt behind him, the whole Pharaoh thing, and go live in Ethiopia with his enemies? I mean, how is that going to go? And he's going to be with Aida, but he's going to be so sad. And it's a hard decision. After much persuasion, Radames agrees to flee with Aida. But the roads are heavily guarded by your soldiers. How will we escape? She asked. All the roads are guarded except for one, he told her. The gorges of Napata. The gorges of Napata, a voice rang out, and Amonsro sprang from his hiding place. He was ready to attack with his army. This was his plot. This was Aida's plan. How do you think Radames feels? Do you think he feels like Aida just betrayed him, or is there a rule here? I mean, we're talking about warring countries and kingdoms, and Oh, it's very complicated. Radames could not believe it. You? Aida's father? You are the king of Ethiopia? He was overcome. I have sacrificed my country for my love of you, he cried to Aida. Come with us now, Amonsro told Radames. You and Aida will reign happily in Ethiopia. But as the king took Radames' hand to lead him away, a shout rang out in the darkness. Oh, that's right. There's other people there. Traitor! It was Amneris. She and the high priest had come from the temple and had overheard the plot. Traitor! She screamed again. Amonsro leapt to kill Amneris with his dagger, but Radames ran between them to shield her. Go quickly, he warned Aida and Amonsro, and the king ran, dragging Aida with him. Radames stood before Amneris and the high priest. He did not try to escape. Instead, he threw down his sword. I surrender, he cried. I am your prisoner. Oh my gosh. Did you see that coming? I totally forgot that they were hiding. Not good. But maybe it's good that Aida and her dad will get away, but it's not looking good for Radames. But I don't know. He was pretty torn. Do you think there's any hope that Amonsro will be able to come and free Radames? I don't know. Greatest warrior to greatest traitor? The treason of Radames shocked and infuriated all of Egypt. Guards locked him in the deepest dungeon in the palace, and soon his trial would begin. He would be sentenced to a horrible death. Amneris was in a state of grief. Her love for Radames had not diminished. Deep in her heart, she knew he had not meant to betray his country. Her own jealousy had made the mighty warrior a prisoner. She longed to beg her father, the pharaoh, to release him, but she knew Radames still loved Aida. She also knew soldiers had killed Amonsro. That's sad. But Aida had escaped and was still alive, somewhere. In desperation, Amneris commanded the guards to bring Radames to her. She humbled herself and pleaded with him to forget Aida. I will find a way to set you free, free to marry me and to share the throne of Egypt, she said, but you must never see Aida again. What's he going to do? Is he going to take it? It's a pretty good offer. He could say it and maybe not mean it. I don't know. Seems like a pretty authentic guy. He's definitely dealing with a lot of emotion here. Radames refused. You are the princess of Egypt, my country, and you have all that anyone could ask for. Yet I will always love Aida, and there will never be room in my heart for anyone else. Oh, that's so beautiful. And the more Amneris begged him, the more strongly he refused. And when the priest came to take Radames, Amneris was in a rage of anger and jealousy, and she made no attempt to stop them. But when he left, she fell to the ground in tears, cringing as she heard the priest loudly accuse Radames of betrayal. She's feeling bad, but her jealousy will not let him free. It won't. So sad, so tragic. So they say he's going to be sentenced to a terrible death, right? So we're thinking back to Egyptian times, and I'm not sure if you have any idea what that might look like. But here it comes. It's pretty sad, pretty tragic. Again, like I said, opera is often incredibly sad and incredibly tragic. The great finale will be really sad. Traitor! Traitor! The high priest Ramphis shouted again and again, but Radames never uttered a word to defend himself. Louder and louder the cruel accusations were hurled at him. Amneris prayed to Isis and the other gods of Egypt to show mercy and to save the man she loved, but the gods were silent. The tribunal of priests pronounced Radames guilty of treason, and they sentenced him to be buried alive. As the priest passed from the trial, Amneris flung herself for the high priest. She insulted him, threatened revenge. Her cries were in vain. Radames, the traitor, will die, he said coldly. Only the priests and the guards were allowed to watch Radames walk into the deepest vault below. They sealed the last opening, shutting out all light and the last breath of fresh air. Alone, waiting quietly for death, Radames thought only of Aida. He would never see her sparkling eyes and gentle smile again. So he's walking into like a tomb made of stone down the stairs, and then the stone is laid over the top so he can't escape. It's a vault, like a cell. But that's not the end. Suddenly, in the darkness, he heard Aida's voice. At first, Radames thought it was a dream, but no, she had escaped and was hiding in the vault, waiting for him. Aida, my love, you are too young, too beautiful to die. Radames pushed in vain, trying to open the vault. But Aida gently placed her arms around him, and with a tender kiss, she told him to stop. Remember, we will never be separated again. For eternity, we will be together. And with all the love in the world, they held each other close, so close, as if they would never part. And above their tomb, dressed in black, Princess Amneris prayed to the gods to forgive her and to grant heavenly rest to Radames, her love. The gods granted her wish, but not as she had hoped. For as she prayed to the gods and wept, a peaceful death had come to the Ethiopian Princess Aida and Radames, the greatest warrior of Egypt. Finally, they were together forever in each other's arms. The last illustration there. It's very tragic, and the music is so beautiful. If you watch the video clip of that grand finale, I think the one that I posted has Placido Domingo singing the role of Radames. And the music is just so moving, and those final high, pure notes that Aida sings, and then they sing this duet together. And above them on the stage, in the video, it's kind of superimposed. You have Amneris singing and praying and asking for forgiveness for what she did and for release of Radames. But it's not on stage. She's actually above them, and it's almost like a two-story stage set, and you can see Radames and Aida below in the vault and Amneris above, and the priestesses are praying and chanting, and it's incredible, and it's very, very quiet at the end. And then there's that moment when they finish, and everyone's heart is just wide open with emotion, and it's silent in the theater. And then, boom, the audience erupts with applause and cheering and bravo, bravo, and the curtain closes and everyone's crying, and it's beautiful. Anyways, I hope you have enjoyed hearing the story of Aida and seeing some of the clips from the opera from various great operatic performers playing these roles. I hope that it interests you enough that maybe you'll watch some more. It's a beautiful story with incredible music by Verdi, and I'm glad that you were able to hear it and enjoy it with me. Okay, see you next time.